Chernobyl NPP is the first Ukrainian nuclear power plant and the only one in the world where accident of the seventh, the most severe level, has occurred, but which has restored the generation of electric power after such an accident. Furthermore, it is the only nuclear power plant with RBMK reactors being under decommissioning. Much has been done at Chernobyl NPP industrial site during the last few years. The most prominent projects are the following. Interim Storage Facility 2. Framatome company started ISF-2 construction in the year 2000 and planned to complete the activities in 2005. In 2002, the State Nuclear Regulation Committee of Ukraine found design and construction mistakes in ISF-2 design. After a number of international audits, which proved the Ukrainian side was right, Framatome reimbursed the spent cost to the nuclear safety account, which was an absolutely unprecedented act in modern Ukrainian history. In September 2007, State Specialized Enterprise Chernobyl NPP and Holtec International concluded a contract for ISF-2 construction completion. There is good expectation that project will be completed in 2017. In 2014, the State Nuclear Regulatory Inspectorate of Ukraine issued to Chernobyl NPP a separate permit for liquid radioactive waste treatment plant commissioning after review of the package of documents submitted by ChNPP. Another project is Industrial Complex for Solid Radioactive Waste Management. Currently, the second stage of hot testing is underway. The main focus today is on the new safe confinement, on the unbelievable sizes and weight of the arch, its difficulty, multifunction, and innovation of its sliding over the existing shelter object. But it is necessary to point out that stabilization of the shelter object was an important step prior to the new safe confinement project. Starting from year 2004 until 2008, 14 commissioning stages were performed, and each of them by its nature was a separate and very important project. Due to these activities, the risk of the object's collapse was reduced significantly, namely by 15 years, that is till 2023. In addition, automated integrated system was installed at the shelter object to monitor fire, seismic radiation and nuclear condition of the object. Preparatory works under the NSC project deserve a separate detailed conversation. These works include transfer of necessary buildings, facilities and equipment from the territories that are now occupied by the arch erection zone, dismantling of pioneer wall berm, and excavation of pits for future NSC foundations. Excavation activities reveal different kinds of highly contaminated equipment in these trenches, buried in the soil within shelter object construction during 1996-1997. Such works as construction of pits, erection sites, trenches for foundations are no longer observable, but without them, the current success of the NSC project would be simply impossible. The history of the arch construction began on the 13th of February 2012, when the first batches of basic structural steelwork were delivered to the Chernobyl NPP industrial site. After that, a large number of complex operations were carried out, including several stages of the arch eastern part lifting, moving of the eastern part into the holding area, lifting and fixing of western part of the arch, backskidding of the eastern part. And finally, on the 24th of July 2015, works on connecting western and eastern parts of the arch were completed. But these are only the main projects which attract the attention of public concerned. But apart from them, over these years, the complex for manufacturing metal drums and reinforced concrete containers for radioactive waste storage was completed and commissioned at Chernobyl NPP industrial site. The existing transport and process equipment of the Interim Storage Facility 1 was reconstructed, which enables reverse fuel discharge from the old storage facility and transporting it to the new one after its completion and commissioning. The safety of ISF-1 was also improved, where all the undamaged fuel from ChNPP is being stored. In order to commence implementation of this project, one more project was developed and implemented, that is, construction of small industrial water pond. A number of projects are still being implemented. These are the dismantling of turbine hall 1 equipment, modernization of production capacities of long-length waste cutting facility, as well as the establishment of ChNPP decommissioning information support system, a project funded by the European Commission under the TASIS program. It is noteworthy that all the projects at ChNPP are inseparably linked. They can and should be performed in a strict sequence, since such an approach responds to the requirements of nuclear and radiation safety. For example, prior to the NSC project, it was necessary to remove nuclear fuel from Unit 3 as the second stage vent stack prevented sliding of the arch. But prior to dismantling of the old vent stack, a new one had to be constructed, because ventilation system is very important for operation of other plant systems. Any even minimal incident with construction equipment during installation or dismantling above the roof of Unit 3 could cause irreversible environmental consequences. All works were performed under difficult engineering and radiation conditions, and this is only one example of dedicated work of ChNPP personnel. Implementation of projects aimed at ChNPP decommissioning and shelter object transformation into environmentally safe system could go much faster, but permanent underfunding of approved governmental projects and programs prevents doing so. State Specialized Enterprise ChNPP, which is financed from the state budget, receives 50, at best 60% of the required funds every year. This in turn leads to an increase in decommissioning term, consequently to the growing cost of this highly expensive process. However, even the allocated funds do not always come to the enterprise. Thus, only in 2014, ChNPP sustained a loss of 104 million hryvnias, which led to the formation of debts for a number of obligations. Insufficient funding in 2015 made it impossible for ChNPP to procure all the necessary energy carriers. As a result, the heating season at the ChNPP started only in January 2016. This in turn caused the accident of industrial site heating system. The situation with underfunding is in fact similar for all exclusion zone enterprises. For many years, ChNPP has been leading the enterprise to the European standards of works management, mastering internationally recognized project management methods, implementing increasingly complex engineering solutions, gaining confidence of the Western partners, both in itself and in Ukraine in general. During all these years, safety has been the first priority for the enterprise. Nowadays, ChNPP is not only a company where technological disaster has occurred, but a modern company with a high level of responsibility, accumulating industrial experience in radioactive materials management and providing foundation for effective actions to eliminate radiological and nuclear accidents. Today, the international community can see absolute progress at the Chernobyl site and is ready to donate money to the Chernobyl Shelter Fund and the Nuclear Safety Account. And again, ChNPP works for Ukraine's positive image. The plant can and should take its place in the nuclear and energy complex of Ukraine as the state concerned for spent nuclear fuel and radioactive materials management. ChNPP personnel is ready and able to perform complex and responsible works, provided the attention from the government and sustainable funding for the tasks assigned by the Ukrainian state.